I would say it's the crack of dawn at the chateau, but dawn in fact has not yet cracked. That's how early it is. And we're leaving bright and early because Nikki is leaving today, unfortunately, and we are dropping her off at the train station. We are very sad to see you go, and I have to say I'm sad to see your outfits go, because it's been so great every day seeing what you're wearing.
Thank you.
Today is another classic, love the hat. You look amazing.
My favourite one.
And as we'll be in a car so early, dropping Nikki off, Philip and I have decided to carry on driving and go to visit the Chateau de Chantilly. For the last few weeks, they've had an extraordinary exhibition about the furniture of André-Charles Boulle, who was working at the time of Louis XIV. And the exhibition ends at the end of the week, so we thought, let's just do it. So you, my darling, are being dropped off with Mama. She said to just pop you in bed with her. So let's go do that now. There you go, my Mama.
Hello.
Ollie looks very happy to be with you. Okay, love you both. See you when we get home tonight. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for everything.
It's been fabulous and I hope you'll come back soon.
I would love to come back if you have.
Our curtains need you and we need you. Have a lovely, lovely journey. Bye.
Bye.
Looking as chic as Nikki always looks takes a lot of luggage, so Philip's just helping her over into the station. And our next stop is Paris, where we're going to be collecting some soup plates that Philip found at auction. They're more in the Marie Antoinette cornflower and pearl pattern, and we didn't have enough soup plates to use that set when Marie wanted to make soup. So finally we'll be able to use it on any occasion. We're closing in on the auction house. Is soup plate excitement rising?
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to know whether I'm more excited about the soup plates or the possibility of a loo. Gosh, this is pretty. The trellis is such a good idea to hide a building that's maybe not that beautiful in itself, but with the trellising becomes quite charming. I like the urns along the top as well. And they've got lovely planting, it's quite tropical. Well, that was worth a detour to Paris.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is gorgeous. They are beautiful, and Marie will be very, very happy.
That means it's unlocked the rest of the
Because how many do you have of this?
9, 2 of which were broken. One with a big chip.
Okay, so when there were more than 7 of us, we couldn't have soup.
No, I always had the broken one.
Okay, well, now we can have it for the guest dinners.
Exactly.
And now we're back on the road and hoping to get to the Chateau de Chantilly just in time for lunch. My goodness, well, we're certainly not in Paris anymore, are we?
It's beautiful.
It is. It's just trees and green as far as the eye can see.
It's a little village there on the left.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know which is the chateau. There's a chateau over there. There's a chateau over here. That looks like a massive church as well. Now, whilst I am very much looking forward to seeing the furniture made by the man who invented the desk as we know it today and the chest of drawers, I am also quite excited to try some Chantilly cream whilst we're here, because this town is known for 2 things. One, the cream, and the other, Chantilly lace and a pretty face. The lace is very famous here, but I don't think we'll be seeing any lace today unless they have some in the chateau.
Probably have some in the chateau.
We shall see. Like in Versailles, there's an hameau here, so a little sort of farm, and that apparently is where the restaurant is. We're going to go and meet our friend Rondna. I've just looked at the flyer of the restaurant we're going to, and it says it's the berceau de la crème chantilly, which they've translated as cradle of the real chantilly, but I think home of real chantilly cream will be a better translation in English. Oh, this is great. Things are looking up. We are now racing towards a restaurant that I believe has Chantilly cream in a golf cart. We did not know they had golf carts. This has made my day.
Go really slowly.
I don't mind whether we go into the chateau or not. That's fine.
After, driving for 4.5 hours.
All you wanted to do is drive more.
Drive a bit more.
But come on, this is fun.
I have to say, this one is much better than the one at Versailles, because that one is really slow.
And also at Versailles, you have to stick to the path, and it stops working if you go off the path. This is speedy.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
Here, you can go anywhere, and you are going anywhere. Right. Oh gosh.
I think we have to go down that way, but I don't think that's the way.
That's stairs, darling. Let's not do the stairs.
It's not anything you did. Was it Italy or Spain?
It was in Spain. I accidentally drove downstairs in the Jaguar. Yeah, but where are we now?
We are here on the main alley.
Bye bye, Chateau. See you later.
Okay, see you in a sec.
Right, we're on our way back. Turns out Ron is just arriving, and so we're going to pick him up. This looks absolutely extraordinary. And the huge building over there that when we were arriving in the car we thought was the second chateau is the stables. Chantilly is very famous for its horses. I think they've won at Ascot in the past and they have huge horse shows here. Your carriage awaits. Good to see you. I'm going to go and sit at the back. Do you know what? I feel like one of those valets, you know, who just stands. Maybe I just stand here. I think they'd have something to say.
Yeah, I
about
was going
that.
to say maybe not that, but yeah, don't forget the umbrella.
Oh, I will totally forget the umbrella. Seriously, umbrellas may as well be disposable with me, so you have to remember it.
Alright, so we're playing songs new. I think we were well on our way. We are here somewhere.
Please be aware that my perch is somewhat precarious.
Walk your perch.
We think we've arrived at the Hameau, which is French for hamlet. It's a darling little hamlet over here and the restaurant should be in there. And it does seem sensible to start with sustenance. I have eaten nothing all day. This place is heavenly.
It's beautiful with a little stone bridge as well.
It is. I love that bridge. That would look very nice in the woods.
So it's the restaurant. It doesn't look very busy. No.
The restaurant's in the old mill. I can't get over how charming this is. This is wonderful. This was a very good idea, Ron.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us know about it. Oh,
Amazing.
it's so good. This is one plate of salad we decided to share.
Yeah.
That was a good idea to share as a starter. Ooh, rillettes and pate and ham and figs. I love figs. And now the confit de canard and potato gratin has arrived. Oh my goodness. I think I might just nap whilst you visit the chateau this afternoon, after the wine as well.
And I have to drive the golf cart.
Are you
that
allowed
safe?
to have?
I
I
don't know.
don't know. I mean, it goes about 5 miles an hour, but...
That looks amazing.
So when you say Chantilly cream in France, you now think of those squirty creams that you get. This is not that. And
It doesn't look
apparently, we knew that it was from this town, but we've discovered since getting to this restaurant that it's from this tiny hamlet we're in that the Chantilly cream that's so famous around the world originated from. And the people who've tried the cream from this hamlet in the past include the daughters of Louis XV, the Austrian emperor, even the Tsar of Russia. And from the 18th century onwards, the cream from this hamlet became famous around the world. And I'm about to try it for the first time.
It does look good.
I'll try it pure first, without a raspberry. And it's unlike anything I've ever had. It's a little bit like a British double whipped cream, sweetened, but it has a slight tang of crème fraîche as well. It's really good, buttery. Philip never has
sorbet.
cream. Yes, so you're just having sorbet, but you just tasted a bit of mine.
It's
Can you
really
just
good.
tell the world what you said? Because it didn't end the way I thought it was going to end.
I said, this makes me finally understand 18th century dessert services. And
We
then he
didn't
said,
see that coming, did we?
you've got the porcelain dessert plates, and then you've got the bowls for the fruit, and then you've got, it looks like a gravy boat, but it's for cream. And I was always like, why on earth would you just have that? I mean, fruit, oh, I understood, but why just the cream?
Well, now you know.
It's like that rather than like
Yeah.
squirty cream.
No, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And actually, it's made with raw milk, so it's not at all pasteurized.
It's really good. Quite delicious. I might just have a little.
That's your fourth try.
No, actually.
Imagine living
big
here
windows.
in the 18th century.
Yes.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, and now you're going to have to go very fast in that golf cart, darling, because our guided tour is in 8 minutes.
All right. Look, they've got 19th century windows behind the other shutters.
Oh, so they do. Here we go, Philip. Whoa, 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 we're about to hit a post. Just slowly, gently. Oh, dear, 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 dear. And we are off. Oh, very sharpish. My goodness, you've got a spring in your step. Bye-bye, Hamlet, home of delicious cream. This is what our alleys in the woods should look like, with little statues here and there as we're walking
You
around.
tell Davey.
I will, I'm not scared of Davy.
That's his face.
got out of the golf cart, absolutely spellbound by these gardens. And I don't know if you noticed, but the bridge in the background there had fountains on it. Fountains on a bridge. I'm speechless. And fountains all the way along this walk with canals on either side. And lily pads in the canal. Can you imagine what it must look like when they're all in bloom? And now we're in the Temple of Love. We passed the Temple of Venus on our way to get here, so a lot of loving themes in this garden. And there is Eros himself and a mallard. And there's the bridge we crossed in the golf cart with the fountains on it. Well, this is spectacular. These are the gardens designed by Lenotre, the same man who designed the gardens at Versailles. Gives ideas, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What a driver of a golf cart you are. Are you allowed to be doing this?
It doesn't say that I'm not doing this. Drop you off here?
Yeah.
Into the
You're very trigger happy with this thing.
say you can't.
You really are taking us right to the door, aren't you, darling?
You just go all the way to the door.
No, this is good. Now we're in the main chateau, which the Duc d'Aumale, Henri d'Orléans, made into a museum. And just through here, we should be able to see the Boulle exhibition. I am so excited to see this exhibition. It's actually the first time there's been an exhibition purely devoted to the work of Boulle in France, which is extraordinary. This is the major furniture maker under Louis XIV. He continued to make furniture under Louis XV. He was born under Louis XIII, so he really had a very long life. And he spanned all the way through from those still quite Renaissance-like heavy styles at the beginning of Louis XIV's reign to the light, more feminine Rococo styles coming in Louis XV's reign. And what's wonderful about this exhibition is that it's in the grand apartments of the princes of Condé, and they were some of his greatest patrons. So some of the pieces of furniture being seen here today were removed from this chateau during the Revolution and are back here for the first time since then, back in the home they were made for. These two low bookcases are my favourite examples of the furniture that was made for this chateau, removed, and then has been brought back for this exhibition. And what I love about them is that you think, well, it's not as though they fit the room perfectly, but in fact, this whole section here was added in the 19th century by the King, Louis Philippe. They would have therefore been much lower, as well as not being on a plinth. They were made specifically to fit under these huge paintings, so that they wouldn't disturb the paintings at all, but you'd still have somewhere to keep your books. André Boulle is attributed with inventing the desk as we know it today, the straight surface with four legs, which looks just like a table. But that's not what desks looked like in the past. At the beginning of Boulle's career, most of the desks were in the form known as Mazarin-style desks. And that shape of desk was named after this man, the Cardinal Mazarin. And they had 8 legs with 2 sets of drawers, one on either side of the person who would be sitting. This is a Mazarin-style desk. And And now, I very much doubt that you've been sitting at home thinking, where does the word bureau come from? But I'm going to tell you anyway, because I think it's fascinating. Because you might be thinking, well, how can a bureau originally have had 8 legs? Surely people just worked at a table. In fact, they did work at a table, but it wasn't called a table when they were working at it. It was called a bureau because it was covered with a cloth, which was called a bure. We call it frieze cloth in English. It's basically the cloth that monks used to wear. It's a thick, coarse woolen cloth and it's brown. And people would put that over a table in order to be able to write at it, to use it as a desk. And that was called a bureau. But very quickly, bureaus took a form with drawers from that shape. Boulle created this extraordinary commode. So as you can see, it still has the 8 legs. They're here, they're looking more like 4, but in fact there are 8 legs there. And the drawers are going all the way along. It's still coming down quite low. He's said to have invented the chest of drawers, which in French is called a commode. French word commode simply means useful, because unlike having just a big chest, you could actually pull things out and use each bit and get to the things at the bottom. And this is how the commode was born. This magnificent piece of furniture was actually made for the king's bedroom in the Palace of Trianon in the gardens of the Chateau de Versailles. And it's a perfect example of Boulle's mastery, not only of marquetry with the bronze and the tortoise shell, but also of bronze works. These gorgeous gilt bronzes on each corner. And this commode served as an example for an intermediary desk between the Mazarin form and the flat form that we know today. Now, there were also desks with 6 legs. There were the 4 on the outside and then 2 more for support. And this is that 6-legged desk, one of only 2 examples known to exist today. You can see the same beautiful women in gilt bronze on the corners. We're down from 8 legs to 6 legs, and now the drawers are going all the way along in a single line, just divided by these lustrous curves. And here we have the desk in its magnificent final form, the desk that we know today. Let's face it, I would love to just put my laptop here, get settled in and edit a video. We can still see those gorgeous female heads as the king had in the Palace of Trianon decades before this was made. But as you can see, there's been an enormous move towards the modern simplicity of lines that we know today. Now, he may not have been the first person to invent those forms, but he is certainly the person who made them famous throughout the world. And what's wonderful in this exhibition is that you can see exactly how Boulle worked. He started by making drawings. This was the design stage of his furniture making. This is a drawing for a wardrobe, and you can see he's working out exactly what sort of gilt bronze figures there should be on the front. Here you can see exactly how he made that extraordinary marquetry finish. First, he had the wood, and then onto it, he would put sheets of tortoise shell and brass. Here you can see the cut-out pieces of tortoise shell, and then the way that the brass would be added over onto it. So it goes from plain wood to wood with the tortoise shell overlay, and then finally the wood with the tortoise shell and brass, creating a smooth, polished surface. So behind me are 2 desks. He made them in what's called première partie and contrepartie. And that's about the marquetry, because the marquetry was made of tortoise shell and brass. And as he cut them out, of course, he'd be left with the negative image of each. And so he would make one piece of furniture, which had the tortoise shell mainly in the background, with the brass inlaid amongst it. But then he would swap his leftover pieces and make the contrepartie, which had the brass in the background, inlaid with the tortoise shell. Now, the première partie, the one with the tortoise shell in the background, was considered far more valuable, because tortoise shell was much more expensive than brass. Between these two, this was the far more valuable desk. And something I find incredibly moving is that in this painting, you can see the Duc d'Aumale chatting to his wife with his children around him at that very desk. And when we get close to it, you'll see that the top of this one is inlaid with yet more marquetry, whereas the top of this one has a simple leather top for writing. This is the one that would have been to look at, to show off, to show one's wealth. This one maybe more for working, though let's face it, they would both have cost an absolute fortune, and both would have ended up in the house of kings, princes and dukes. These are probably my two favourite pieces of furniture in the entire Boulle exhibition. They have the most extraordinary tops. Here you can see playing monkeys frivolously having a marvellous time all the way along the top.
Imagine having to look at all those
Yes.
tiny little pieces of bird.
Oh, yes. Because these were based on two that Boulle had made earlier in his career for the Chateau de la Ménagerie in the gardens of Versailles. And a few years later, Boulle made these two in the same sort of design but a little bigger. They're much lighter and more feminine than his earlier furniture. The legs are gently curved, getting into the Rococo style. The whole thing is more delicate and playful. These two little corner tables were actual tables made for that Chateau de la Ménagerie. And again, you can see that feminine, quite joyful, playful style. In the marquetry on top there, we have musicians dancing around, and on this one, bagpipes and pipes, all extremely joyful. And if you're wondering about the extraordinary shape, it's because they were round tables made to go in the corners of a room. But Boulle did not only make stunning furniture, believe it or not, this is the casing for a book, and it's maybe the best preserved piece of Boulle marquetry in the world. It's also quite rare because he also used steel in this one. You can see there is a silver thread running through it, as well as the brass and the tortoiseshell. And it's so well preserved because it's a book. It spent most of its life on a bookshelf and therefore hasn't had anything like the same wear, touching, or exposure to light as his furniture has had. But you can imagine, looking at this, just how rich the colours of his furniture would have been at the beginning. I mean, that tortoiseshell is glowing red and brown. Well, this entire exhibition has been a joy, and I'm leaving with a far richer understanding of Boulle's furniture than I had when I arrived. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it all too. Now we're rushing to see the Duke's perfectly preserved private apartments, but I've run out of time in today's video, so tomorrow I will show you these sumptuous apartments. I cannot wait to share them with you. So I'll say goodbye for now, and à demain.